New Naira notes redesign. President Buhari makes progressive governors ask for 7-day grace for resolution. Worried over border security, Nigeria customs to be integrated into nation security architecture. 22 days to general elections, federal government unite with Meta and Google media platforms to curtail spread of fake news. Good evening and thanks for joining us on the Network News. I'm Elizabeth Omori, and I'm not reading alone tonight. Adiola Komi Akere is in the mega city, Lagos. Don't forget to follow this newscast live on our website, nta.ng/live, NTA News Now on Twitter, as well as other social media platforms displayed on the screen. President Muhammadu Buhari is urging Nigerians to give him a 7-day window to resolve the cash crunch emanating from the implementation of the Naira redesign policy by the Central Bank of Nigeria. The president made the plea while engaging members of the Progressive Governors Forum on the development. State House correspondent Adamu Sambo reports.
Members of the Progressive Governors Forum were in the State House to compare notes with President Muhammadu Buhari on the impact of the cash swap policy of the Central Bank of Nigeria, which they say is undermining government efforts at transforming the economy. The president told his guests that the objective of the policy is not to create hardship, rather to provide the economy with much-needed revitalization, and the benefits will be borne in the medium to long term. Inefficiencies and underhanded practices being carried out by the deposit money banks as the primary distribution medium, he however said, have destabilized the smooth and successful execution of the policy. In his words, some banks are inefficient and only concerned about themselves, and therefore extension of the time frame within which to complete this process will be made insignificant for as long as greed and selfishness continue to guide our actions. The president said he had received and seen televised reports about cash shortages and undue hardship that local businesses and the citizens are being subjected to, and gave assurances that the balance of the 10-day extension will be used to rectify whatever issues that pose a threat to successful implementation of the policy. And as he continues to monitor the situation, the president promised that he will be meeting with both the Central Bank of Nigeria and the Nigerian Security Printing and Minting Company to enable him take a decision based on current realities in the best interests of the people. The governors, who reiterated their position to fully support the Naira redesign policy decision, said they are also convinced about the intent behind its thinking. They, however, shared their concern regarding the current fallout, which according to them has a debilitating impact on their constituencies. The governors told the president that as leaders within the party and the government in their various states, they are becoming anxious regarding the economic impact of the policy and its potential to erode the nation's democratic process, particularly the upcoming general elections. They, however, requested that the president directs adequate injection of the new notes and the continued utilization of the old ones until the end of the year. The president stated that when considering the policy prior to its initial approval, he demanded an undertaking from the Central Bank of Nigeria that no new notes will be printed outside the country, and he received firm assurances of adequate capacity, manpower, and equipment for domestic execution of the exercise. Those assurances, he said, would be interrogated as part of his engagement with the responsible agencies of government. The president thanked the governors for bringing the cries of their people to him, given their proximity to them, and promised that there will be a solution to the problem. The chairman, Progressive Governors Forum, and Governor of Kebbi State, Atiku Bagudu, led 12 APC governors to the meeting. From the State House, Adamu Sambo, NTA News.
Away from the currency redesign, in continuation of the APC presidential campaign for the February 25 elections, President Muhammadu Buhari will lead the campaign team to Nasarawa State on Saturday, 4th of February to encourage the electorate. Ali Tijani reports that preparations have heightened ahead of the presidential visit to Lafia.
It's like a homecoming for President Muhammadu Buhari to Nasarawa, a state often referred to as his political laboratory. With 3 weeks to the general elections, APC in Nasarawa State says it is mobilizing support to retain power, and the visit of President Muhammadu Buhari to the state is a booster to its campaign. While in the state, the Nigerian leader will inaugurate Federal Secretariat and the Agricultural Machinery Equipment Development Institute built by Nasani to promote locally made machines and tools for agricultural production. Also to be inaugurated as state government projects.
We are 90% ready. As you know, the president is coming for official visit where he is going to commission some projects, and from all indications, everything is set. We are ready to go.
The conversation amongst the people in the state indicates their readiness to give the president and the campaign council rousing welcome. In Lafia, Aliu Tijani, NTA News.
Governments must actively redefine the role of their customs services to be properly integrated into the security architecture due to the growing number of fragile borders and the convergence of fiscal and security issues at such borders. Vice President Yemi Osinbajo expressed these views at the just concluded 3-day global conference by the World Customs Organization with the theme Enabling Customs in Fragile and Conflict-Affected Situations.
For the World Customs Organization, 2023 is dedicated to nurturing the next generation, promoting a culture of knowledge sharing and professional pride in custom. From various reports, fragile borders not only aggravate conflict, they rob the state of crucial income that could address some of the social issues that contribute to conflict.
So the mix of social, economic, political, governance, security, and climate factors had already created a perfect storm in many of these states that are described as conflict affected or those that have fragile borders, even ahead of the COVID-19 pandemic, which simply added a more devastating dimension to tip things over.
Explaining further some of these issues countries are facing, Vice President Yemi Osinbajo declares that the days of the customs service dedicated only to fiscal matters at the borders are long gone.
It is now imperative that national governments, where there are fragile borders or in post-conflict situations, must invest intentionally in infrastructure and capacity building for their customs service personnel. Fragile and conflict-affected states, especially in developing countries, must be assisted in acquiring relevant technology, such as drones, sensors, and other remote technologies to better track goods and enforce security, especially in the fragile borders.
This conference has the objective of raising awareness, visibility of customs, how it can contribute to security, especially for security and facilitation of trade supply chain, which is the lifeline of many countries.
The Vice President is optimistic that the World Customs Organization will not only talk, but walk the talk to help fragile and conflict-affected countries on the journey to prosperity, peace, and stability. The Nigerian government also expresses full commitment to ensure that any plan or recommendations from this conference will be implemented. In Abuja, Jide Onifade, NTA News.
Now, a shift from border talks. Some divisional police stations in Nasarawa State have received a facelift from the Nigeria Police Trust Fund. Francis Form reports that this is the first time the divisional police stations are receiving such attention.
Nasarawa and Wamba are two local government areas in Nasarawa State. Never in the history of their existence have been given facelift, despite the sorry state of the divisional police stations. Pathetic during raining season. The DPO's office used buckets to block leakages, while the cells were without water and toilets. But with the intervention by the federal government, the police stations are now wearing a new look and have been provided with all the necessary tools.
We are going to select 2-3 in every community. Within the community, there are 3. The cost of the project is 45 million for the 3 police stations, and in the next budget we have also included about 15 to 16 of them.
We just hope and pray that this effort will be sustained going forward, so that we will not slip back into what it used to be.
Our challenge is at the barracks here, and if you look at the round the big land, we need fencing, sir.
Besides, the police station is a barrack, and the trust fund says it is taking inventory of other dilapidated police structures for further repairs and rehabilitation. Francis from NTA News.
The head National Central Bureau of Interpol in Nigeria, AIG Garba Baba Umar, has appeared before the House of Representatives had a committee investigating alleged sale of 48 million barrels of Nigeria's burning light crude, where he made submissions on alleged plot to intimidate whistleblowers on the matter. National Assembly correspondent Dayo Ogunshola brings us details.
This committee of the House was inaugurated on 29th of December last year, with the mandate to investigate the alleged illegal sale of 48 million barrels of Nigeria's crude to China in 2015. Mark Billa, the chairman, wants the head of National Central Bureau of Interpol in Nigeria to clarify allegations of intimidation against the whistleblowers.
When those individuals, those whistleblowers, approached the committee, we found out that a week or more afterwards, your department, the NCB of the Interpol, wrote to 2 of those individuals, which we do not consider to be a coincidence. Why is it that it is when they approach this committee to give them evidence about what happened that the Interpol suddenly started inviting them?
Have the avenue.
AIG Garba, speaking on the oath, maintained that Interpol is not investigating the whistleblowers, but National Central Bureau is only assisting in identifying them, since there was a request from the Ministry of Justice with requisite document.
Mr. Chairman, I will not, and I repeat, I will never allow anybody to use me by any means. It's a request, Chairman. Probably those who may be able to answer are those who investigated the matter and the Office of the Attorney General, who wrote to me requesting for assistance. They wrote an attached document, and those are the ones that can answer all these questions they are asking, Mr. Chairman.
The committee, however, insists that the concerned persons are not on the run and requested for certified true copy of the letter to NCB from the Federal Director of Public Prosecution. From the National Assembly, Dayo Ogunshola, NTA News.
Meanwhile, motorists in Abuja are heaving a sigh of relief as fuel queues seem to be abating in Abuja. Minister of State Petroleum Resources, Timothy Silva, who visited some petrol stations, noted that President Muhammadu Buhari has mandated all key players to ensure issues around supply chains are resolved permanently. Lydia Samson reports.
Agbaja Shegun is a motorist in Abuja. In addition to his regular 9-to-5 job, he uses his car for productive means to earn extra cash. He lamented that the long wait in petrol queues has been counterproductive for him.
No fuel. Sometimes maybe within 2 hours, I will have make like some amount of money, or because I've used that hour to queue for fuel, before you know it, for the whole day, I may not even be able to make anything.
Now, Shegun and other motorists who hitherto spent endless hours at petrol stations say the situation is improving and they hope it will be sustainable.
The situation is not that bad. I just get here like 30 minutes ago. It's still fair enough.
If they are saying they want to remove subsidy. If they want to remove it and put our refinery fine, it's okay by us.
Gradually it's reducing. By special grace of God, they're reducing.
But we all, just as a mini insight here now, we want government to intensify more efforts.
Most motorists here in this petrol station, like all others in Abuja today, the situation is easing off. But can the same story be said about those outside the city center and even across Nigeria? Minister of State Petroleum Resources, during his visit to petrol stations in Abuja, learned from station managers that the situation is improving and they have enough products.
Mr. President himself is really pained. I mean, he's not happy that Nigerians were put through this pain. He will also agree with me that Mr. President alone has stood against deregulation, I must tell you, because he believes that it's going to really occasion a lot of suffering on the part of Nigerians. So Mr. President is always on the side of the people, and that's why he is very pained, and that's why he directed that we must ensure that this problem is resolved as quickly as possible.
Timipre Silva says key players in the industry have resolved to sustainably tackle issues around complexities of supply chains, and hopefully the queues will be permanently eliminated across the country. In Abuja, Lydia Samson, NTA News.
You're watching the Network News on NTA. Let's take a breather. More reports ahead. To stay with us. You're still watching the Network News on NTA. The federal government is optimizing opportunities in the renewable energy subsector to connect unserved and underserved communities with solar home systems to achieve the 2023 target for energy mix in the country. Joshua Ojito reports that key players and donor partners met in Abuja to review performance and strengthen institutional framework for effective project implementation.
3 years of project delivery to provide electricity to communities by the Rural Electrification Agency. Time for another review and to set target for 2023. Key players, management of the agency and development partners meet to strengthen pillars of service delivery.
The REA is an agency in a hurry to make a positive impact on its mandate, which is targeted at the rural population and the most vulnerable Nigerians.
Conversation revolves around monitoring and evaluation, sustainability of projects, as well as coordination with state governments to sustain trajectory in project implementation.
We're in the Northwest, North Central and Northeast, all over the country. The impact is enormous. I'm assuring Nigerians that REA is a robust organization and it will continue to provide and care for power for the rural communities as it is doing now.
Where we'll be very deliberate in identifying exactly where we have unelectrified Nigerians, and with that the ministry is able to plan to see within our agency, the TCN, the distribution companies, who is catering for which one of the unserved Nigerians.
With off-grid and mini-grid projects delivered across many rural communities nationwide, federal government promises more communities will be connected this year with solar home systems. Joshua Ojito, NTA News.
In other news, the National Broadcasting Commission has sanctioned Arise Global Media Limited, owners of Arise TV, and the Continental Broadcasting Services Limited, owners of TVC News, with a fine of 2 million naira each for breach of the Nigerian Broadcasting Code. In a statement, the Director General, Balarabe Shehu Ilela, describes as worrisome the trend in which Arise TV program What is Trending is aired unprofessionally, and the TVC does not give equal news coverage to other political parties. The Commission says it has monitored consistent breach of the code, citing 5 different instances, each of some political campaigns and programs where the presenters of the 2 media outfits incite the guests instead of cautioning them. The statement also highlighted 8 sections in the code violated by the media houses, noting that the fine be paid within 2 weeks after receipt of the letters, or the sanctions shall be graduated. A bit on data, the National Population Commission has taken delivery of the first batch of personal digital assistant PDA electronic devices to be used for the planned digital census in Nigeria. A total of 480,000 PDAs are expected for delivery before the end of February, and discussions for deployment to all states of the Federation, including the FCT, are on course. MPC Chairman Nasir Issa Kwara, who received the materials in Lagos, said his commission already developed census parts and other applications to ensure effective operations and accuracy of census figures.
We want to conduct a digital census, and like I have been saying, you can't do digital census without the digital equipment. So they have arrived. It is reinforcing our belief in our processes and our timeline that yes, we will be able to conduct a credible census for this country.
What this also means for us in National Population Commission is that you cannot use any other hardware to collect census information, because this is the only hardware that has been developed, for the census. So any other one will not succeed. These are very unique features that gives us the confidence that we're going to have the best census ever.
The census planners say necessary arrangements are on with training of field functionaries to deliver credible census data. The FCT Emergency Management Agency and the Development Control Department say no fewer than 21 persons have so far been rescued in the ongoing efforts to evacuate those trapped in the collapsed three-story in Gwarimpa, Abuja. Rosemary Lilal in this update reports on rescue efforts so far.
3 site workers were confirmed badly injured, while many were said to be being trapped under the rubble of the 3-story commercial complex. Investigations on day 2 at this building collapse site reveals.
While you are digging, you are doing it professionally, because in a situation you are trying to save lives, you may end up losing lives. The machine itself can injure somebody.
We were able to save 21 lives alive, and 3 were fatally injured, and we could see that the operation is still going on. We will not rest on our oars until when we get to ground zero to make sure that nobody is left on the rubble.
According to an eyewitness and workers at the site, laborers conveying blocks to the top were many.
I did for up. Now job name me a job corner. I said the thing cost the fall like the fall for girl like so more jump. See, all of us before where the jump 3 people die at a spot.
Yesterday I was here and I was sitting here. So when I saw the thing, because the house is from down, when the thing fell down, I was the first person that even shot.
In the meantime, traffic has been building up since the access road has been cordoned off. The building under construction, which went down Thursday morning, has been eliciting reactions from government officials and relevant authorities with a view to averting future occurrence. Rosemary Motel Bilal, NTA News.
Rosemary Bilal there on the collapsed building. The poor and vulnerable in Gombe State would now enjoy protection from undue exploitation. Deputy Governor Menasa Dane Jatau stated this while launching the social protection policy domesticated by the state. Abba Abubakar Yakubu reports.
Gombe State Social Protection Policy is put together by the Budget Planning and Development Partner Coordination Office, supported by UNICEF and other development partners, aimed at improving the lives of poor and vulnerable in the society, as well as reducing poverty and inequalities that expose them to social risks. The Deputy Governor, who led the team of experts, unveiled the policy, saying the present administration has done a lot in terms of implementation of various projects for the development of the state.
We have embarked on 3 skill acquisition and empowerment for youth, women, and vulnerable groups.
Country representative of UNICEF expressed satisfaction with the efforts of Gombe State government towards improving the lives of the citizens.
Social protection is one of the goals of the Sustainable Development Goals.
Country representatives also inaugurated the Research, Economic and Intelligence Unit, renovated and equipped by the UNICEF to monitor the performance of their social intervention in the state. In Gombe, Abba Abubakar Yakubu, NTA News.
About 100 mastercraft persons in Abia State participated in a one-day innovation class for skills development to promote entrepreneurship. Ifoma Undu Ukuli reports.
The workshop was organized by the National Board for Technical Education, MBTE, under the IDEAS project in partnership with World Bank. Executive Secretary of MBTE, Professor Idris Bugaje, while declaring the event open, underscored the need for mastercraft persons to upgrade their skills to meet the global best practices. Bugaje, who was represented at the event, spoke on the Nigerian skill qualification framework.
The target group are master craftsmen. These are people that have apprentices, they have learners under them, and they'll be giving them training all along. They want to do now is we want to formalize what they are doing. We want it to have a structure. We want them to be able to be properly assessed so that their certification will be better recognized.
The program was also designed to sensitize participants on the benefits of integrating master craftspersons into the nation's formal sector.
Now is simply to inform and sensitize the master craft persons on the IDES project generally, what they intend to benefit, the interventions they will be receiving, and the training the project intend to give to them to ensure that they also raise their skills and competencies to those of the international standard.
Some of the participants commended the initiative, which they noted will help them grow their businesses.
I'm a shoemaker by profession. I see this program as a laudable one to we that are non-oil sector.
Participants at the workshop are expected to acquire more trainings at well-equipped training centers to qualify them for certification by MBTE. In Umuahia, Ifeoma Ndu-Okolie, NTA News.
Meanwhile, the shift from book knowledge to skills acquisition was the focus of a national skill qualification workshop for mastercraft persons, Southwest Zone, held in Ekiti. Eugenia Ugweze reports.
Years, survey has shown that skill acquisition and entrepreneurship form the backbone of every nation's economy. It is for this reason that the federal government, through the National Board for Technical Education, NBTE, is collaborating with other stakeholders for practical technical education and self-reliance. The workshop aims at fine-tuning the patterns of knowledge that an individual needs to successfully perform at work.
Even that knowledge they have in the degree, can they translate it to work?
Rather than our people going as illegal immigrants, you will go to any country as a skilled worker.
Like other participants, Akwanishile Oluwayomi, a nursing mother, said the initiative is a commendable one.
And we that are learning, we believe that what we've gained today is will not stay here alone.
Enlighten people so that they will know the importance of this money that is being spent to develop this technical education.
I'm NC holder and I'm BSc holder as well. I still have a skill acquisition, which is helping me and my family as well.
The emphasis now is no longer on degrees, but skills. What are your skills? What can you do? And how are you using those skills to impact positively on the society and the world at large? In Ekiti, I am Eugenia Ukweze, NTA News.
Actually, those questions need answers. Worried by the difficulty experienced by Nigerians in getting a new Naira notes, Vice President Yemi Osinbajo met with some players in the fintech space, exploring possible ways of mitigating the hardship. The Vice President specifically urged regulators and the banks to deploy more fintechs and money agents to the hinterlands to address the worrying situation. During the interactive session with a number of fintech investors and ecosystem players, the Vice President said that the Central Bank of Nigeria and commercial banks should work with all fintechs that have mobile money agents, not just some of them, in order to reach the farthest places in the country. The Vice President acknowledged that there are logistical challenges that have to be addressed by the Central Bank of Nigeria and the banks, especially from the point of view of the average Nigerian and those in the hinterlands who hardly use any electronic platforms. He also observed that while there has always been a certain failure rate in online banking and money transactions, they have become even more difficult now with the increase in the number of transactions congesting the system. And next is business news with our businessman, Busy Benny.
Thank you and welcome to Business. Minister of Industry, Trade and Investment, Naira Debayo, says urea has replaced sesame seeds as Nigeria's biggest known oil export product, ranked as third highest export item with a 2.24% share of total exports for the third quarter of 2022. This is part of achievement of the ministry in recent years.
Sesame, until recently, was our largest selling non-oil export, followed by ginger. And these are products that are very, very popular, especially in Europe. Another product that has overtaken the two of them now is urea fertilizer, which has become the largest selling product internationally, non-oil product internationally.
And taking a look at the energy market, oil prices made modest gains in early trade on Friday, but we're heading for a second straight week of losses as the market looked for more signs of a strong recovery in fuel demand in China to offset looming slumps in other major economies. Brent crude futures rose 16 cents to $82.33 a barrel, while U.S. West Texas Intermediate crude futures gained 18 cents to $76.06 a barrel. And to the equities market, the market maintained a positive posture following strong buy sentiment. At the close of last trading session for the week, the all-share index advanced by 0.4% to 54,213.09 points. 2,268 million shares were traded in 4,017 deals, valued at 2.354 billion naira. Equity capitalization closed the week at 29.528 trillion naira. Universal Insurance led the activity chart and followed by Guarantee Trust Holding Company and Transcorp. Then European markets retreated on Friday as investors digested key central bank decisions, economic data and corporate earnings. The German DAX was down 0.85%, the French CAC dipped 0.23%, while the UK FTSE rose 0.24%. And for more reports on the network news, let's now join Adiola in Lagos. Adiola.
In line with CBN's cashless policy, Hope Payment Service Bank has embarked on a nationwide wallet opening campaign to promote ease of doing business, transferring and receiving money. Ruth Aria Samuel, who was at the campaign launch, reports that subscribers stand to get instant 500 Naira cash reward.
Hope Payment Service Bank is Nigeria's premier digital bank, which leverages digital technologies to deliver inclusive financial services. Managing Director Ogechi Altred said the bank is committed to support Nigerians to own bank wallets, irrespective of status or educational background. As long as they own a phone, Hope enables subscribers open a wallet and to transact with just a phone number.
With your phone number, you can transfer funds, make payments and withdrawals at any POS, ATM machine, and web.
Group Head Operations Sunday Abba said this initiative will help in curbing bank fraud while promoting inclusion of all members of society.
The KYC level of the wallet is lower than the KYC level of a normal account. And the wallet to make it easy for you to transact, open and transact for financial inclusion, for digital inclusion. You can transfer money from anywhere to the wallet. From any account in any bank, you can transfer money to the wallet. Same way you can transfer money from the wallet to any account in any bank.
The sense of that initiative is to ensure that the ease of account creation is taken to the nooks and crannies of the country.
With Hope PS Bank, every mobile phone user can easily enjoy instant digital banking services by dialing *569*9# and follow the prompt. Hope Payment Service Bank, a subsidiary of Unified Payments, seeks to provide accessibility, affordability, availability, and digital financial services. In Lagos,
Ruth Ario Samuel, NTA News.
Away from financial matters now. Repair works on Eko Bridge has reached 50%. The Federal Controller of Works Lagos, Umar Bakare, said this ahead of the reopening of the bridge. Hengino John Adams has more.
After the fire incident that affected Eko Bridge last year, the federal government mobilized engineers on site with a target of reopening the bridge by December 2022. While motorists along the axis waited patiently for the bridge to reopen so that they can breathe a sigh of relief from the heavy traffic they experience, they were greeted by an extension. Few weeks into the December deadline, the government announced May 2023 as the new deadline as a result of an emergency repair of Ijora Olokpa section of Eko Bridge, which was also gutted by fire. For now, the piers have been repaired and the bearings are being worked upon.
Hopefully by May, we intend to open it to the public. You will recall also that the whole of Eko Bridge is undergoing comprehensive rehabilitation from beginning to the end. This project is supposed to last for 43 months. We're working double fast in order to be able to fix the areas that were gutted by fire.
The closure of the bridge is affecting the livelihood of motorists, from loss of man-hours to difficulty in accessing some areas. They are therefore hopeful that there will not be another extension.
From here now to Relay now, at times 400, at times 500, normally 200 now transport.
The buses are supposed to pass through the CMS to Relay. There is no way. They need to go through the Third Mainland Bridge.
They can be able to do this for us on time so that the working class, the businessmen, everybody can be able to work freely.
The motorists also appealed to Nigerians to always protect public infrastructure for their own good. In Lagos, Hinginu John Adams, NTA News.
We're done with our contribution, but do not forget to follow this news broadcast live on our website at nca.ng/live and on our other social media handles displayed on the screen for updates. We will take another break. Network News will continue when we return. To stay.
Thanks for staying with us. Meta and Google have made a commitment to stop the spread of fake news and disinformation on their platforms to protect the integrity of the 2023 Nigeria's general elections. These world's largest social media platforms made this commitment during an interaction with the Minister of Information and Culture, Lai Mohammed. Anthony Forson reports.
As you are aware, Nigerians would go to the polls this month to elect first a president and members of the National Assembly.
Information and Culture Minister laying the path for the engagement with the representatives of the two social media giants. He said the 2023 general elections are crucial and President Muhammadu Buhari has consistently assured of free, fair and credible exercise, but some fears have begun to emerge.
There's been a noticeable increase in the use of fake news and disinformation by those who are bent on hindering the success of the elections.
The minister fingered social media as a critical factor in national elections, and no nation, including Nigeria, is immune.
With a predominantly youthful population, Nigeria ranks among the countries with the highest users of the various social media platforms, especially WhatsApp, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok. The use or misuse of these platforms is therefore of great concern to all stakeholders.
He explained the sudden increase in the circulation of fake news and disinformation via social media.
These unscrupulous people are resorting to the use of parody accounts, cloning of reputable media platforms, and the use of deepfakes. Bring our people on board so that they can flag posts that that constitute fake news and disinformation with a view to having such flagged posts brought down. Work with our security agencies to bring down posts capable of inciting violence. Election results not originating from official sources, i.e. INEC, should be flagged as unverified. Make posts from official channels like the Ministry of Information and Culture, INEC, National Orientation Agency, etc., prominent on your platforms.
The representatives of Meta and Google were quick to concede to the minister their willingness to partner with the federal government to achieve a successful elections.
We would begin work on our internal processes and our external engagements to protect the integrity of the Nigerian elections.
Making sure that we protect elections integrity. Addressing misinformation is a big part of that. So our global approach to elections anywhere, in any country where we are, when we provide services, is very much hinged on protecting the elections and elections integrity.
With this promise, if adhered to by these social media companies, it will go a long way in checking the proliferation of fake news and disinformation before, during, and after the elections. In Abuja, Anthony Forson, NTA News.
To political reports now, APC leaders in Ekiti State have taken ownership of the Tinubu-Shettima presidential bid. They made this commitment at the APC presidential campaign rally in Ado-Ekiti, Ekiti State. Musbab Danwahab reports that the presidential candidate also met with traditional rulers, religious and social political group leaders in the state.
Tinubu-Shettima presidential campaign train found its way into Ekiti Pavilion, welcomed by party loyalists. The APC family says the turnout is a message of commitment in itself. While APC still savors its latest victory locally, the party is looking to expand its coast with the state in this month's presidential and National Assembly elections. APC leaders here believe Tinubu have been with them through different phases of a democratic struggle, and they say it is a case of one good turn deserving another.
On the 25th of this month, we will show our appreciation to Ashwaju with our vote. Please, every one of us should encourage people to come out massively to vote.
The APC presidential candidate displayed its long-time relationship with a fountain of knowledge, describing Ekiti people as highly educated. Tinubu said his mission is for the emancipation of the downtrodden in Nigeria.
The election is for you to liberate yourself. The polling units are close by. Go out and vote.
Ashiwaju also met with and received the blessing of the Ekiti State Traditional Rulers Council at the Palace of the Way of Ado, Oba Rufus Adejube. From Ado-Ekiti, Musbau, then Wahab, NT News.
Meanwhile, the presidential campaign candidate of the Labour Party, Peter Obi, during his visit to Kebbi State, pledged to boost Nigeria's economy if elected in the forthcoming 2023 general elections. Jalil Mohammed Bawa reports that the Labour Party campaign train was received by party supporters from the 21 local government areas of Kebbi State.
Party leaders and supporters of the Labour Party gathered in their numbers defied the weather and other conveniences to show their support for the presidential candidate of the party and his vice in Kebbi State. The venue was Racecourse, where the presidential candidate Peter Obi, addressing his supporters in Birnin Kebbi, promised to tackle insecurity, banditry, unemployment, and to uplift the standard of living of Nigerians if given the mandate come 2023 general election.
We want to remove this country from consumption to production. Yes, sir. This country can feed itself. It is a great country. We have all it takes. We want people to stop stealing public money.
The vice presidential candidate of the Labour Party, Datti Baba Ahmad, assured Nigerians dividends of democracy when voted into power. The campaign train of the presidential candidate also visited the emir of Gondu's palace to receive royal blessing. In Birnin Kebbi, Abdul Muhammad Ba, NTA News.
And the presidential candidate of the African Action Congress, Omoyele Sowore, will be next guest on NTA's latest political talk show, National Conversation, showing later tonight at 10:05. Speaking with two of NTA's finest, Sowore outlines key national targets with specific timelines to achieving some of his objectives if elected president by Nigerian voters this February.
I really met the electorate in 2019 because I traveled to 34 states in the country, including in the FCT. And what surprised me the most was that the parts of Nigeria that people were saying, no, they are not ready for democracy or education, they are backward. They were the ones, particularly not, when I said, what do you want? They said the word Makaranta. This is the first thing they asked me. I had to ask my interpreter, what's the meaning of Makaranta? Of course, I knew about it because I served in Adamawa State, and they said it's school, education. I didn't find anybody in the north, or those poor women that I met, at banks of those little rivers or in those huts, who ever said, give me money.
Is hosted by the dwarf Cyril Stoba and Kingsley Osadolo and opens a vista for presidential candidates in this year's election to speak on their plans for the country and the Nigerian people. Wife of the PDP presidential candidate Amina Titi Abubakar is assuring Nigerians that the party, if successful at the polls, will create more jobs, empower women and youth, provide quality education and health care services, as well as revamp the nation's economy. She gave this assurance while addressing PDP Northern Christian Women Coalition in Jos. Felicia Dalyop Smiler reports.
Addressing members of the coalition, wife of the PDP presidential candidate says she was in Plateau State to rub minds with the women on issues of governance. Atiku Abubakar, if successful at the polls, she says, will create more jobs for women and youth as well as revamp the nation's economy.
Atiku wants to rescue. Atiku wants to restructure. Atiku wants to rebuild. Atiku wants to reconstruct Nigeria. So I beg of you, put Atiku on the 25th of this month.
And I want to tell you, ma, that Plateau women, when they say yes, it is yes. Plateau women are saying yes to PDP.
The women prayed for a more united Nigeria and successful conduct of the 2023 general polls. In Jos, Felicia Dalyop Samaila, NTA News.
Time to take another break, and when we return, sports will be up to stay. And that's the news. Thank you so much for watching. We do apologize we can't bring you news sports update now. To watch out in subsequent bulletins. I'm Elizabeth Omori. Thank you so much for your time.